Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and after doing my Tigon releases, which I'll leave a link down to below if you haven't seen that particular video, I thought I'd do the same for the equally amazing company Amicus. So between Tigon, Amicus, and Hammer, I think they put out the best horror in the 60s and 70s. So I'd imagine, like most people, I used to get mixed up as to who actually released these ones. It wasn't until kind of recently when I was collecting all the Hammer stuff that I kind of really thought, I'm sure this movie's a Hammer movie, and it wasn't. It was an Amicus or a Tigon movie. And it's interesting to sort of look at these and see how many they've all actually done. Now, I've done my separate Tigon video, and I was surprised to see they released under 20 horror films. And also, I went and just, obviously, I'm going to do my Amicus stuff, what I've got on the shelves. And I thought, how many horror films they done? I thought it would have done a lot, and they've done under 20. In fact, they've only ever done 28 movies in total. They ran from 1962 to 1977, which is crazy when you think about it, when you think of all these gems that were put out. And you think, is that all it did? Also, as well, on a side note, they are coming back. They have announced in 2023 they are putting together a new film, which isn't out yet. But it's amazing to think that Amicus will be releasing something brand new. Also, Hammer's come back and made movies sporadically since about 2010. Tigon hasn't come back. So I was checking the list online of what actually Amicus had released. And I was surprised to see, as again, they haven't just released all horror films. They've got quite a few different type of things. More like science fiction, I would say, is their thing. Whereas Tigon was more horror and a bit more uh, exploitational, maybe adult stuff ish. And so I went on the shelves and I thought, what ones have I got? And I was surprised to see there's a lot here that I haven't got. I was searching around and I thought, I'm sure I've got this, I'm sure I've got that. But these are the ones I've got on here, and obviously I'm going to go back to the shops and online in the store to like pick out the ones that I can get because I've got there's some brilliant ones that are out there which I haven't got, and I can't believe I haven't got. And I'm sure I've picked them up in the past, but they're not in the shelves unless they're hiding somewhere. So first up, and on a side note, I'm going to talk about Dead of Night. Now, this isn't an Amicus film, but what it is it's a portmanteau film, which means it's got quite a few little stories, and maybe five or six. It's from 1945 and is considered to be the first one of its kind. Now, Amicus seem to be, more than anybody else, they seem to be the kings of the portmanteau movies, and I haven't got many of them, unfortunately. They're the ones I'm going to search out first because I think absolutely brilliant. So this was released in 1945, black and white. It's a great film, but this story here with this man with a dummy is by far the best. Really creepy, especially for its time, way ahead of its time. So I think that Amicus took this idea and ran with it and actually made some of the best portmanteau horror films of all time. And I know that the League of Gentlemen, they're big fans of this portmanteau stuff. And if you like the League of Gentlemen, you haven't seen any of these portmanteau films where they just have these like stories, but they're all intertwined. You really want to see them. So without this film, maybe some of the best Amicus films would never be made. So that's 1945's Dead of Night. So speaking of portmanteau films, first up is 1965's Dr. Terrace House of Horrors. This is an amazing release. And now the thing is about this, it's got Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee with a slew of stars, Roy Castle, Donald Sutherland, believe it or not, we've just recently lost him, which is a big shame. Now, this, I remember this is only a PG. I mean, there's nothing really in it, but it's got a really sinister vibe to it. And when you used to see these things on the TV, they really used to freak you out because of the little stories that are happening. Just didn't know what was going to happen in the various stories. This takes place on a train, and he's reading out these tarot cards, and he's seeing what the futures are going to be like for them. And it tells you the stories of what they're going to like be faced up against. But it's absolutely brilliant. Now I do know there's a 4K out of this. I haven't upgraded yet, but I do think this is an absolutely great movie. Now speaking about this and Hammer horror on 4K, these ones just are so colourful and vibrant. I think the colour they used back in the day, this Technicolor that they had, was really kind of garish and kind of really colourful because I don't think they had colour before this, so they made everything super colourful. And these ones just lend amazingly to 4K. So the more the merrier. That's why I'm really thinking because of these things starting to come out on 4K and looking spectacular, they've got to get the Hammer stuff on 4K because I think that's the next thing round the corner. But anyway, highly recommended. It's got a great cast in it. That's 1965's Dr. Terrace House of Horror. So Amicus, just like Tigon and Hammer, didn't release just horror films. So next up is 1965's Doctor Who and the Daleks. This is a 4K, and it looks absolutely spectacular for me. I just love this. I just love Doctor Who at the minute. Will I ever do a video on Doctor Who? I don't know because I'm thinking about it. But anyway, this here is what a set this is. I've talked about this in the past. I will link down below my unboxing of this set. But it's a strange story because the fact is that it's not really canon to Doctor Who. It's like a standalone movie or movies. But it's great to have this on 4K in a spectacular fashion, and I can't get enough of this type of thing. But yeah, so it shows you that Amicus were a bit like most companies back in the day. They weren't really like invested in one particular genre, but I think they are more known. That when someone talks about Amicus, Tigon, and Hammer, they always think of horror. They don't think about the other stuff they put out. So that's 1965's Doctor Who and the Daleks. So next up is 1965's The Skull. Now, this is a rare release. This is an American release. It used to go for big money. It doesn't go for big money now because these two have been released independently in the UK by Eureka, The Skull and Amicus Cheat Death. Now, this is a Hammer movie and this is a Amicus movie. Now, this is a rarity because you never saw these two companies, rival companies, big rival companies, on the same disc or the same package. So that was odd when I saw that because I thought when I saw it, there would have been both Hammer, but obviously not. That's Amicus, that's Hammer, but they've still got the same look. If you put these on, you would never know they were made by different companies because they're both sort of trying to go for that gothic look. But of course, this one, the Skull has got Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, so that's the golden team, isn't it? And yeah, I do remember these ones being quite scratchy, and I do know that the ones released by Eureka are better quality ones. But these are what I would call the best sort of 60s stuff. When you get these two actors together, when you put them in a movie, you just know the movie is going to be absolutely amazing. So that's 1965's The Skull. Next up is Dollx Invasion Earth, 2150 AD. This is another one of these spectacular releases by Studio Canal. I'll leave a link to this one down below when I've unboxed this one. Can't get enough of these. And yeah, so this is the second one. There was going to be three of them, but this one unfortunately bombed. I don't know why that was the story behind that. I know there's a story behind maybe it's released at the wrong time. Or I know that Peter Cushing wasn't too well in this because Bernard Cribbins seems to take the bigger part of it. And it's a great movie, and of course it's in Technicolor, and the Daleks look amazing in it. So yeah, can't get enough of this, and really, it's a shame they never put out the third one. But it is what it is. What can you do? But another fantastic Amicus release. That's Dollx Invasion 2150 AD. Next up is 1967's Torture Garden. Now, I was talking about this on my Tigon release, The Creeping Flesh. That's a Tigon film. Now, this is a US release and it's from Colombia and it's region A locked, but it's not. It's multi-region because I put this on my 4K play and it played, really well. So, if you do want to get this one, there is an alternative cover to this, which you might know better. The alternative cover is that. But I like that one actually. You can see the movie's a bit better. The three movies are on one disc, which you would think the quality would be, pretty bad. I can tell you the quality on this one, and this one look really good. Now, I'm watching my Tigon films at the minute, and having a great time with them. I'm watching like one a day, and I'm probably going to watch this one today because this is the one I'm up to, and I'm having a blast with them. I think they're just so good. I'll go more into it when I've watched them all, and then I'll talk about what I've seen and what I think about them. But this one here, Torture Garden, it's been released definitely by Indicator, and don't know anything about it apart from that. This one here, The Brotherhood of Satan, was released by Arrow, but this hasn't got nothing. This is a Paramount film. It's got nothing to do, or Universal. It's got nothing to do with Tigon or Amicus. So yeah, so this I'll put screenshots on this. They both look brilliant, especially on one disc. You would think there's a little bit of sort of lacking in quality, but far from it. As far as I know, this is the only way you can get the Creeping Flesh on Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray looks absolutely stunning. So buy in confidence if you're thinking about it. Now, when I put this on, now I remember watching this. I've seen this quite a few times. I couldn't really remember the story behind it, but when I put it on, it like get some screenshots. I did see that there's a bit on it to get this. I think Peter Cushing to get this big skeleton of this Neanderthal man, something like that, with a big, huge head. I remember that, the skull and that. And what happens is he like cleans up one of the fingers, and the finger like regenerates, and he cuts it off, and he puts it in this glass case. Now the finger in the glass bottle looks like something else. I'll leave that to your imagination. So like this thing is regenerating and coming back to life. It's a great film and one that I really want to watch. I'm going to watch this today, obviously. Actually, I was quite surprised to see how many times Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing appear together in these movies. Sadly, I haven't got as many as I would like to have, but I'll put that right and get some more ordered. So yeah, so that's 1967's Torture Garden and also 1973's Tigon release, The Creep in Flesh. Next up is 1972's Tales from the Crypt. Now, I honestly thought there's a lot more around about the early 70s of these type of movies, the portmanteau ones, and absolutely brilliant. This one is stunning. The story with Peter Cushing on this one is just unbelievable. The effects in here are amazing. Now, I thought there's quite a few around about this time from Beyond the Grave and that type of thing, Vault of Horror. And I obviously thought I'd had these, but I have, so I'm going to have to go and make that, correct that actually and get them offline because a lot of these ones with Amicus, you can get them quite easily. They're not really hard to get, which is good. Plus, there's only 20 of them. So because there's 20 of them, you think there's not that going to be that hard to get. I think the Hammer ones, if you start a Hammer one, because I think they've probably got about 40 horror films, it's going to be harder and more expensive for you to collect them all. And I don't think all of them are available anymore. These ones, these portmanteau ones, like I say, Amicus do these better than anybody else, even though I think they've all tried the hand at it. But yeah, Amicus for me, as these are the daddies of this particular genre. So that's 1972's Tales from the Crypt. So before I get the last film in my Amicus collection on my shelves, sadly I wish I had a lot more. I'm just going to talk briefly about this. Devil Girl from Mars, the recently re-released Blu-ray. Now, I remember when I was talking to Nige and we were looking at this and I had this in my hands. That's what I'm going to get it. And I thought, no, it's a bit of a risk in case it's going to be not the audio sync was miles out the one I had anyway. So I didn't want to get it. But anyway, when I went back to the Metal Center the other day, I've got more pickups which I'll show in a different video. But I just want to talk very quickly about this. So I've watched it this morning. This is a fantastic movie, and the audio is completely corrected. Now, when I was talking to my good friend Stephen Monkey Mason, I link to his channel down below. He works in HMV. So I said to him, I said, can you just confirm that this is actually corrected and it's not just ones that's been hanging around on the shelves? He says, no, definitely it's been corrected. If it's wrong, give us a shout. We'll get you a brand new one. So I got it and it just plays amazingly. So when this movie was first released in January this year, can't believe this is 70 years old. It looks absolutely spectacular. And what a movie it is. Like I say, I'll talk about this more on a forthcoming video. Just wanted to give everyone a heads up if you're seeing this, especially in this 2 for £15 sale. Do go and get it because it's got the R cards in here. It's perfect. A nice slipcover. Lovely presentation. Got a nice extra on here as well, which I watched with an interview with Kim Newman. So yeah, so do go and get this if you're thinking about this and take advantage of the sale if it's still around. I was so pleased to get it because I was on the fence with it because of this whole audio sync. Will it be all right? But it's completely sorted now. It plays absolutely perfect. And if it doesn't, when it doesn't, you can take it straight back and say, look, this isn't right. I need to get one that does play right. So I just thought I'd quickly mention it. That's Devil Girl from Mars. Do pick it up because the audio sync has been completely fixed. So the last one on this list is 1974's The Beast Must Die. This is a great movie. I had this on DVD as well, but this looks spectacular. And Peter Cushing as well. You've just got some great stars in here, especially with Peter Cushing. So when I think about Amicus, I've only actually got 5 horror films from them, which I couldn't believe actually, if I'm honest. But look, but thinking about that, there's not even 20 of them made in Amicus Horror. So it's not going to be a hard one to complete or get most of the titles. Now I have got a lot of Hammer stuff, and there's a lot more Hammer stuff to collect. Now what we'll do in a forthcoming video, I'll show you exactly what I've got in all my Hammer stuff, and I'll show you what titles I've got. I am missing a few, but I've got more than I need, if you know what I mean. So I'll go through them, but it's going to be I'm going to try and make the video not too long, so I'm not talking about them too much, but I'll take you through what I've got if you want to see what the Hammer stuff looks like. Obviously, next in the story is to get some of these releases on 4K. Now, I know that Tigon's starting to get the 4K. Amicus is starting to bring the 4K out. As far as I know, there's been no Hammer 4Ks yet. Now, to me, that's got to come out. It's just going to be a travesty if it doesn't. So, I wish I had a few more of these Amicus ones, but the best thing about it is there's not many more to collect and they're quite easy to get a hold of. I think Hammer might be the hardest ones at this point to get the ones that I'm missing, but it's going to be fun trying to get the rest of them. So thanks for watching, you take care, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.